So you just got home and opened up the box and put your brand new E-flite 1.2 meter F4U-4 Corsair together, and now you're looking at it saying, I gotta put some decals on it, but where do the decals go? And I just realized that there is no instructions that come with the airplane to tell you where the decals go. That wasn't really a big deal for me because, well, I was gonna do custom graphics from Cali anyway, and where the factory decals weren't going to be used. So I never even really thought about it too much that, you know what, you don't probably have any real good idea on where to put the decals at that come with this aircraft. Also, and then seeing a lot of people get their Corsairs out and putting the decals on, that confirmed to me that, wow, people don't really know where the proper decal placement is on the Corsair. I've seen some pretty crazy decal placements, and if you want to be historically accurate and really pay homage to the aircraft and to the pilots that flew them, you really probably should put the decals in the right spot. I think that's important to really, if you're going to do it right, then you should do it right. I don't think these things should look like a NASCAR race car with stickers just plastered all over them when that's not how they would have looked. So I'm going to kind of go over real quick on where the decals go on the F4U-4 Corsair that was used in Korea. And I will also be referencing the Osprey Combat Aircraft book, F4U Corsair Units of the Korean War. So I've already talked about in the other videos that this is a Korean War veteran scheme right out of the box, right? So we have the national insignias, which are, considered like the stars and bars. Here we got the star with the white and the red stripe here. That's the national insignia. So if you hear me refer to national insignia, these are the decals that I'm referring to. We know that it's Korean vintage because it's got the red line on here, which means that it's post World War II. 46, 48 is when that was added. And we also know that these aircraft were used quite extensively in Korea. So everything lines up that we'll be using the Korean War book. So unless you're doing one of the Navy or Marine trainer squadrons or one of the reserve squadrons, you'll want to do something a little different for that. But the decals that come with the aircraft are for a Korean War vintage aircraft. So let's talk about a little bit about where the decals go and what they mean. So we'll go ahead and we'll just start at the back and work our way forward, shall we? So on the tail, that's where you're always going to find the two-letter designator, right? And that letter designator is really the squadron's call letters, right? That's what they, I don't know exactly why they are the letters that they are, but the letters always go on the tail, okay? The letters also will go on the top of the wing opposite of the national insignia. So if you have my particular aircraft here that I did for VMF 312, the checkerboards, which is a custom scheme I had done for this aircraft by Cali, the letters WR will go on the tail. So if you are going to use the factory decals, letters go on the tail. Then we're going to move down here to just behind the national insignia. You're either going to use the Navy or the Marines decal. So if you're going to do a Navy plane, then everything needs to follow the Navy scheme. If you're going to do a Marine plane, then everything should follow the Marine scheme. You don't want to mix and match. You don't want to have Navy over here, Marine over here, and who knows what else people are doing right now, but keep it consistent. So you'll want to put the Marines or Navy just behind the national insignia. Just below the national, or just below the branch, Navy or Marines, is going to go the squadron identifier. And in my case, it's VMF 312. And it's VMF because it is V for heavier than air aircraft. I have no idea why the Navy decided that that's what heavier than air aircraft should mean, but that's still used today, so that's what the V is. M is for Marine. Since I'm doing a Marine Corsair, I'm going to be doing a VM. If it's Navy, that letter is just removed. It's not there. F means it's a fighter squadron. If it's A, that means it's an attack squadron. And if it's like VFA, it's a fighter / attack squadron. And VMFA would be a heavier than air Marine fighter attack squadron. So you may find like this particular one from 312, maybe VMF 312 or VMA 312. So that goes just below the branch, okay? So it goes right down here. And we're gonna refer to our book here, and we're gonna give you an example. Here we go, we're gonna show you, I'll get you close up of here. And then you can see that on this particular page, you can see that we have the letters on the tail. These are actually Navy ones, so I'm gonna use this as an example. The Navy goes just behind the national insignia, and then you have the squadron name that is listed below. And for the Navy, like I said, it's either gonna be VF or VA, and then the identification letters. And they go just below the branch. So just to keep that in line. Now, if you are going to go with Cali graphics, you will get some extra decals here. You will get the actual designator for the aircraft, which mine is F4U-4B. You'll get the Marines underneath, because it's a Marine aircraft, and then you'll have the bureau number underneath that. Now, the factory decals do not include this extra set, but they go just below the horizontal stabulator here, just about in line with the leading edge. So if you just gotta put those on there, now you know where they go. And the bureau number is the identification number for when the basically the PO was placed by the War Department or the Department of Defense to order the aircraft. So in my particular case, it's 97380, meaning that it was ordered in 1949. And then the 7380 is just the consecutive numbers that follow behind it. So, all right, moving forward. So now we have the national insignia, which is factory installed. You don't have to do anything with that. And this is where you're going to see some variation depending on your particular aircraft. You may have the number for the airplane may go just ahead of the national insignia, just in front of the cockpit here. Mine happens to be number 5. So number 5 would go here. Unless there's no markings on the cowl, then the number moves up here. So just kind of pay attention to what aircraft you are doing to know which location the number goes. Since mine is the checkerboards and has the checkerboard decal across the cowl here, that means there's no number here, the number moves back here. The same if you did like, let's say like the Death Rattlers, which has the white, the red, and then the rattlesnake on here, then the number moves back here. But if you're doing a Corsair that does not have any decals on the nose, then you take this number 5 or whatever number you are using, and you go ahead and you move that up to the cowl. And that's pretty much standard for Navy or Marine. So if you don't have anything on the nose, number goes back here. If nothing's on the nose, number goes up here. If you have something on the cowl, then the number goes back here. Pretty simple. These are the only 2 locations that the identifier number goes. All right, moving over to the wing, we touched on this already just a little bit. On the outside of the wing, on the very top, right here, you're gonna have the letters, the same letters that you used on the tail, and you're gonna have the number 5 in my case, and that's the same number that you put on the fuselage. So tail letter, fuselage number, they go on the top of the wing, opposite of the national insignia. Now on the opposite side of this wing, you have the national insignia on the bottom, and then on this side you have nothing. And on that side, there's a little bit of variation on what actually goes there. You can use the Navy or the Marine sticker. So if you're doing a Marine Corsair, the big Marine sticker goes on the bottom of the wing with the national insignia on it, or the Navy goes there. However, some aircraft actually used a repeat of this number letter designator that we see on the top wing here. They used it on the bottom wing. So the factory decals do not include that option, so you can't do that anyway. But just to let you know that there are some that omit the Marine or Navy on that side and put the letter and number designator on there. This particular one needs to have that on there, but I screwed up and accidentally put the Marines under there instead. And now that the sticker is there, the sticker is going to stay because I'm not going to peel it back off and fix it. And besides, I didn't order an extra set of decals from Cali for that anyway. But just to let you know, the Marines do not go on the top, the Navy does not go on the top. It goes on the bottom, and it goes on the same side that the national insignia is on. So that pretty much covers, where the decal placements go. Obviously, Google can be your friend. Books are a wonderful resource if you are doing Corsairs, because there's a lot of little variation that goes on with the aircraft as well, in terms of some of them have the top of the tails painted, some of them have the cowls painted. There are some additional identifiers that the aircraft use, and it just do a Google search and you'll find, if you just look up Korean War Corsairs, you're gonna find a massive amount of pictures, and use those for reference and make sure you get it right, okay? You're paying homage to the men that flew these aircraft in the war, and to do it right, you really need to kind of pay homage to them. Obviously, sometimes you don't get them 100% perfect like I did. I put the Marine sticker where the Marine sticker didn't go on the bottom of that one particular wing, but there are also plenty of aircraft that did have that location. But sometimes finding your actual aircraft can be difficult, and so that one I got a little wrong, but I'm not too terribly worried. But at least it's it's a little bit more correct than what I'm saying. Oh, one last decal goes on the front of the gear doors. Whatever number you put on the side of the fuselage goes on the gear door as well. So in my particular case, the number 5 appears on the fuselage, on the front of the gear door, as well as the opposite side wing. So there you go. So if you guys got any questions on how to do the markings on your F4U-4 Corsair, by all means, leave them in your comments below, but don't be afraid to look up on Google, pick up some history books, take a look around, and do the best you can to try to get the aircraft looking as historically correct as possible. And I think it's just going to add a lot more to the aircraft if you do it right. And I know the argument, everyone's like, well, it's my plane, I'll do whatever I want. Yeah, I get that. I take a little artistic license too, so I can't say that that's technically wrong. But if you wanted to know how to do it right and where the decals go, by all means, I've given you the roadmap to be successful on putting the decals on. And for me, putting the decals on really brings the aircraft to life. When it comes out of the box, it's almost very generic, right? But once you put the decals on, it becomes that particular airplane, and it becomes, you're bringing that portion of history to life. So hopefully this video will help out. So you guys will know where the decals go, and it'll make it a little bit easier to make yours look really great and be the envy of everyone at the field when you roll up with your brand new Corsair and all the decals are in the right spot, and people are going to be like, wow, I got to get myself one of those, and it will look incredible in the air as well. So like I said, if you guys got any questions, just leave them in your comments below. I'm going to get back to work on finishing out my Corsair so I can get this thing in the air and take a look at how beautiful it turned out once all the decals are on and everything is all sealed up.